Okay, welcome to the Forbidden History Chronicles. You're here with Ninja Cat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series. Before we get on with the program, I've had a couple of issues with the stream. It says it's all good here, but I'm having trouble with the chat. I can't see the chat and I'm a bit worried about hitting the refresh. I think I'm going to hit the refresh. Otherwise it's going to be a bit hard to communicate. Welcome to any new listeners. Yes, does it?
Well, just say that apparently everything's working okay. You're just saying you can't chat? You can't type?
Yeah, I can't see the chat. I can't see anything in the chat. I think I need to refresh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you think that's what you got to do, then
I don't want the stream to go down. That's all.
Well, I know that was my main concern. Do you think waiting just a little bit more would activate? Maybe it's just a delay.
I don't know.
What's your past experience? When you do a refresh, doesn't that usually put a wrench into the fire or not?
It has in the past, but to be able to see the chat, I'm going to have to, because there's 5 watching, but I can't see anybody chatting. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll give it a go. If it doesn't work,
so it hardly matters, right?
Yeah. If it doesn't work, oh, Ninja! Oh, if it doesn't work, we'll.
By yourself now. Okay.
If it doesn't work,
She's really not worried.
Yes, Desert. Ninja! Serious. Oh.
No, you're Ninja. What are you talking about?
I apologise. There is a crazy ninja cat jumping all over the desk, and he
no
just...
guys of Apollo here, okay? Just do your job. Go get him.
Okay. Yeah, if it doesn't work, I'll cut the stream and start again. Alright, I'm going to hit the refresh. Ninja, go out there and run around, please. Okay, now I've got this circle. Is it still working on your end?
Yeah, we got people texting.
Yeah, I can't.
Hey, Lynn, hey, Shelly, hey, Love. Hello.
I can't see any of that. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Yep. Whenever you're ready, YouTube. Yay! Yeah. I can see the chat. I've got no people watching and no picture on the screen. Oh, love it. Okay, it's all coming back.
You do some computer maintenance. You need to clean up, somehow.
Oh, it's just my signal. Like I've noticed when I've on nights that I've stayed up late, around between 1 and 2 a.m. I'm not gonna. I don't want to say it out loud actually, because it happened earlier tonight. Yeah, there's a change in the frequencies. I can hear it and I can feel it, and it affects the signal. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Yeah, because this is going to work tonight. All right. I apologise for the false start. Welcome everybody. Sorry, I'm just multitasking. Welcome everybody. I'll read Desert's introduction and we'll get into it. Okay. Hi Yellow, hi Lynn, and hi Shelley. I love you guys. You're so funny. Anyway, the signs of the times. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time. Who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world. About who the giants really were and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the earth-based misnomered UFOs which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cybercode has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, and print media, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the old world order from the beginning of time. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it, but they are cleverly leaving us in the dark. Hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemtrails to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all by the clever means of deception, because we, most all, are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the currency through the birth certificate. But they are all through with us now. It is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. By Dezert-Owl. Welcome, Desert, again. How's it going?
Hey, Ninja, thank you. And I'm all chalked up here. Thank you. And so, what a world we have, huh? And we have to get through it.
Yeah.
And that's part of this struggle that we're in.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the heads up from and concern for you, from you and Lynn in particular. I didn't even know we had bad weather here in Ohio. It must have went around us, but we have colder temperatures. Went down to 36 last night.
Yeah.
And we had rain, and so front came in, but it wasn't anything that devastation. So I'm not familiar with any of that information. And
yes.
And was there a lot of damage? Was that what you heard?
See, I'm in the future. See, I know all this before you guys. I see it all through the day, and then you guys, I'm there to like give you updates when you wake up in the morning.
Basically, you're just saying there were power outages. Is what
severe weather. A couple of days ago, hammered the bottom of the US, all along the bottom, and I noticed today it had moved up the east coast and was in the top corner, and you're on the edge of what they were showing on all the channels that watch the radars and things, and 300 300k people out of like no power. Yeah, and they're calling they're talking about a blockbuster tornado. They're talking about what Dane Wigington mentions all the time with the I can't think of the uses, the instant heat, instant cold, ice
nucleation.
Yeah, but he has a term that he uses. It describes it perfectly. Yeah, that's what's happening here now too. We got hot, and suddenly it's cold. Still too hot to stand in for too long through the day, and we're going to get a blast. We're going to get a cold blast like the next few days.
Because they were really predictive for the programming that they intended to give us, and we watched it as young people, but we didn't give it any thought because the only inclination is that this is nature, and okay, that's interesting. Well, but we didn't know that psychopathic Jesuit Vatican-controlled the United States and all other corporations were involved in a manipulation program to destroy our world.
Yeah, sorry, it's disconnected. Yeah, and I agree with you. Then you look back and it's like, wow. Now that I know what I know, it's disconnected and reconnected, and says stream resumed. So I didn't want you to run out of steam.
No, it's okay. I refreshed and it seems to.
Is it back?
Be going.
Okay, well, I'll
just give us a heads up.
I'll do the same.
Chat, we're still.
I'll do the same because I can't chat at the moment. I type in and it doesn't work, so I'm refreshing. So We'll see how we go.
All right, and then we can get on to the program because we've done our chat here.
Yeah, mine
I
just...
have a quote. I have a special quote that I found in a book on fasting, and it's called by George Eliot. It is never too late to be what you might have been. George Eliot. So I thought that was a rather profound quote.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because it's true. Yeah, while we have breath.
Desert, are we still streaming? Because my page just disappeared completely. My channel page.
Well, we're still... Let me turn the volume up. Hang on. Yeah, the volume came through. It's coming through.
Just wait a couple of minutes.
So you're streaming, but you can't...
I can't see a thing. I've just got to... Yeah.
3-3. The sound is 3-3 for Lynn. That's terrible. We're in trouble.
Yeah. Okay, I've got my page back.
Alright.
This is so wacky. This is so wacky right now, Desert. Like, it's still going, it's still good through the OBS, but YouTube is all over the place.
Yeah. Okay, so Lynn, how is my audio coming through right now? What is it, on a scale of 1 to 10? Okay, I'll just move you. It might make it better. Okay, Shelley says it's fine over there. Okay.
Okay, it just came back, I think.
Okay.
I'm just readjusting the phone.
Shelley sounds like she's from Massachusetts. I thought she was from California. Okay, maybe Ninja, you said a keyword they didn't like. And
a keyword, yeah.
Buffer.
I was probably talking about the weather. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
okay.
Weather's probably a keyword now.
Good. I'd like to know Lynn has got better quality than 3-3. She says you both sound far away.
Yeah, that, and I haven't changed anything.
If everybody else has reasonable quality and you're low, then you might want to try to do a refresh.
I've done that 3 times. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I've done refresh. I'm just going to check I'm checking microphone volumes. I haven't changed anything,
well,
so.
Okay, Love says we're in 8-8, so we're good to go, and Lynn is having a technical issue. Okay, so let me go into put this quote under quotes, and I have some from the Dictionary of All Scriptures and Myths today, and I welcome any new listeners that are out there as well. And under candlesticks, I don't know how good I'm going to be today. I got talked out yesterday, and I'm still feeling it today, but I'll give it a shot. Okay. Under candlesticks, a symbol of wisdom and love nature as bearing the light of truth in the soul. So we'll be talking about symbols today. I have 2 books on symbolism that'll be following this. And so we're starting with symbols as well. Candlesticks, a symbol of the wisdom and the love nature bearing the light of truth to the soul. So in Revelations, when we saw the 2 candlesticks, we saw the symbols of wisdom and of love, the nature of love. These 2 witnesses are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the Yahweh of the earth. Revelations 11:4. Let me cough. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay. So, the 2 principles which testify to the greatness of the great Lul of Haim within the shul, within the soul, are love and wisdom. And these stand for the Yahweh who rules the lower natures of the earth. Obviously, they all bow down to serve him. They are at his disposal. That's why we saw nature do profound things within the story of the Exodus, for instance. By olive tree, it is signified love and charity. And by candlesticks, it is signified illustration in truths, and thence intelligence and faith, the victory of light. A derived and transient light is all that any man ourselves, we are in ourselves. We have been in the darkness, and only as we follow fellowship with Him do we become capable of giving forth any rays of light. The condition of all our brightness is that the Moeshiach, the Christ, will give us light. He is the source. We are but reservoirs. He, the fountain, we only cisterns. He must walk amidst the candlesticks, or they will never shine. He must hold the stars in his hand, or they will drop from their place and dwindle into darkness. Therefore, our power for service lies in the reception, and if we are to live in the Moeshiach, we must live in Moeshiach. If we are to live for the Moeshiach, we must live in Moeshiach, the Christ. But there is still another requisite for shining of the light. The star navigator Zechariah once saw in vision the great temple lamp, and by its side 2 olive trees, from which golden oil flowed through golden pipes to the central light. And when he expressed his ignorance of the meaning of the vision, this was the interpretation by the royal messengers who talked with him, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Yahweh of the only true stars. The lamp that burns must be kept fed with oil. Throughout the Old Covenant, the soft, gracious influence of the great Elohim's Asha Spirit, are symbolized by oil. The oil, in the prime sense, is true. And oil is a symbol for love, lamp for the casual body, stars for the mental faculties, gold for wisdom, that's your treasure in heaven, and the throne of your Son, of your mind. Moeshiach, the Christ, is the Son, S-U-N, right here. Moeshiach is the Son, that's the great logo, of the soul, giving out the light of truth to the personality or character, symbolized as moon. There's the seed of the moon, son of moon, which is all mankind, because they have no light of their own and have to receive the light, which shines only by derived light. Churches, and then he goes on with his references here. Okay, so that's one definition. Let me get on to the next one. And the next one is David, king of the Israel, king of Israel. So it looks like, Lynn, are you still having a rough time out there? You refreshed 5 times.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. It's a shame.
That must be on her server's end then, because everybody else.
Yeah.
Seems to be all right. Okay, so King David, a symbol of the natural man, that is the lower mental and emotional nature, which rules over the little developed qualities of the soul. Little developed, I guess, would be an understatement, considering where we are in our world and where people are.
Yeah.
The great Elohim's son, who was born of the seed line of Tabat, according to the flesh, who was declared to be the seed of the son, with power according to the spirit of purity, by the resurrection from the dead. This represents the genealogy of the indwelling Moeshiach after the lower nature, the flesh, the natural heredity, as it were. Tavat is ruler of the lower nature, earth, and it is through this condition, the rulership of matter in the shul, that the invisible is embodied by the invisible is embodied. The Moeshiach cannot actually be manifested among men except through a physical vehicle of sufficient exquisite responsiveness to enable it to incarnate and reveal its nature in some degree. It must be borne in mind that the Moshiach, the Christ, is not ultimated in the earthly race, which, until the physical brain matter, is adapted to interpret the functionings which play on it from above. So let me read that highlight right here that I made. It must be borne in mind, carried in your mind, that the Moeshiach, the Christ, is not ultimated in the physical character or in the earthly race until the physical brain matter is adapted to interpret the functionings which play upon it from above, and then a transformation can occur. So that was a profound statement. In this explanation of Yeshua is to be found the connection between the supposed external or historic and the inward or essential Moeshiach, Christ. What are the conquests of Tavat, David? Or the greater conquest of Tavat's everlasting Son over the royal domains or kingdoms of the earth, but a shadow of that inward conquest, which Moeshiach works over his enemies within our souls, which is more valuable than the earth itself, and to conquer, which is a higher achievement than to subdue the kingdoms of the earth. Whereas it says in Proverbs, greater is the man that rules the spirit than one who conquers an army. The soul is a thing for the seat of the sun. To conquer the world is for Caesar, or the son of Philip. The soul, the boundless world of the soul, to recover, to reconcile its warring powers, to breathe the life of Yahweh over its chaotic ways. This a work thereof, all outward works are only fit for the emblems. The work in the execution of which every Ishishviri man feels the going forth of his Savior, conquering and to conquer. Okay, so I have one more here, I think, Son of David. The symbol of the mind in its lower evolutional aspect, or a state of the lower mind. The Canaanitish woman came out from those borders and cried, saying, "Have mercy on me, true, perfect, and complete sunrise, healer and sunrise. You Zan of Tavat, my daughter is grievously vexed with a dark condition." But he answered her not a word. And his truth seekers came and besought him, saying, "Send her away." So long as the Moeshiach is appealed to as mind or man, as Son of David, the lower emotion nature, the woman that represents the woman, is addressing him from the lowest state. It is therefore really no appeal, and no answer to the creation of light can be given. The qualities, truth-seeking, do not relish the use to which they were to be put in order to allow for the gracious act of the Moeshiach afterwards taking place. So I know that was a mouthful there, but in simple terms, she's seeing him on the lowest degree, from the lowest advantage, and so we you all have to climb a mountain to get a better view. That's what happens when you climb a mountain. You get a better view.
Yeah.
And so it was just that, when she was tested. If we remember the story, she was tested and say it's not fit to give the food of the children to the dogs. And she said, yes, master, but even the dogs eat the scraps from the table. And then he said, well, for that, you are to be rewarded. And so it was a test just to bring her to that next level of consciousness. Yeshua requires the victory of light of the blind man in Matthew 9:27, that he may thereby raise their thoughts higher. They had called him the son of Tavat, the son of David, the Zam of David. Therefore, he instructs them that they should think higher things of him. Thus he does not say to them, do you know that I can do this? Do you know that I can ask the Father for this? But do you know that I am able to do this, is what he said. Do you know that I am able to do this? And they said unto him, yes, healer and sunrise. And they call him no more the son of David, but exalt him higher and confess his dominion as healer and sunrise. And then he lays his hands upon them. Okay, I think I've got one more here. Dawn. The daybreak, day spring. It's not morning, it's dawn. A symbol of the commencement of manifestation, the period of the self's forthgoing to establish the planes of nature. This is typified in the approach of sunrise when the sun, the self, appears. Verily, the dawn is the head of the horse, which is fit for sacrifice. The sun, its eye. The wind, its breath. The mouth, the Vesavana, fire.
Okay, it came back and then it disappeared. It's trying to come back. It should show up in a minute. Okay, still got the circle, but I think we're good to go. Do you see anything yet?
Let me do a refresh. Live stream offline.
Offline. Do you want me to just restart? We'll do a part 2.
I was questioning with my having a problem with my voice, if maybe we should just leave this a little bit, and I guess
Okay, apologies again for the issues. Welcome back to part 2 of the Forbidden History Chronicles. You're here with Ninja Cat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series on YouTube. And I might give out your details now, Desert, or do you want to continue? Because I've got some notes.
Go ahead.
That I took.
That way you'll give my voice a break, and then we'll pick it back up.
Okay. And can I? Yeah. While it's in my head, yeah, I wrote a few things down when you were talking about daybreak and a few other things. All right. Okay. Thank you, yeah, love. Okay. For any new listeners, we do encourage live callers, but I don't know how good that would be tonight. But we do, yeah, this is a YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's just being really wacky. Yeah, so apologies. We're going to have to cut this short, I think, and we'll be back on Wednesday.